what is drifting? It's a lot different from regular racing. It's adjudicated, but it's not just about speed and times and stuff like that. It's about style, line, angle, proximity, and it's like ballet for your car, if you will. Where drifting differentiates from other auto racing has lots of rules. You know, you can only run a certain motor, this type of car, this type of wheel, tire, all sorts of restrictions on their cars. And drifting's so new that it doesn't have all those restrictions, and the sky's the limit.
You'd expect it to be like a roller coaster. If you've been on a bigger roller coaster, it's kind of violent, bumpy and shaky, and whips you all around. Whereas drifting, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, is very smooth. You know, you're going fast, it's loud, but once you initiate into the drift, it's strangely smooth. I've really taken the easy route. He did all the R&D, you know, all the mistakes and so forth, and I just kind of took the easy route, and his works, so I'll copy it and do it in mine, and I get to be his target. So Keegan's kind of got some more drifting time under his belt, so we're kind of drift bros or drift partners. He uses me as a target. He'll chase me down in the track, and it works out pretty well.
I started out drifting a Mustang. With this car, it just has a better chassis all around, honestly. That's one of the only reasons. I mean, it looks okay, but when it comes down to it, I only picked it for the chassis just because it handles so well. It's one of the, you know, most ubiquitous race cars in the world, believe it or not. When you come out to the track, you just can't drive, you know, your mom's car in there and expect to drive it on the track. You don't have to do a lot. You have to bring a fire extinguisher that has to be mounted. You have to wear a helmet that's approved for auto racing. And really, that's about it if you want to drive by yourself. It gets a little tricky when you want to start tandem driving, though. That's a whole other animal. For that, you need a full 6-point roll cage with door bars, and that has to be a certain type of tubing, has to conform to a certain welding specification, all that kind of stuff. I think it's the ultimate for me is it's a good learning experience too. Even though it's a lot of fun, you're also learning a lot too. I've had some pretty hard hits into the wall that have broken wheels off. If you ever get a chance to look at the back of my car, it's pretty much not there anymore.
They had this really high speed entry, and the stands were kind of opposing that, so you'd watch the cars come in really fast, and they'd enter like this and come across. So this guy's coming in, I don't know, let's call it 70, 80 miles an hour, and he turns, and right when he turns, the front wheel breaks off the car. So he kind of just, you know, limps to a stop. But we're sitting here in the stands, right here, and we see this wheel coming at us 70, 80 miles an hour, and it hits the K-rail right in front of the stands and goes straight up. It must have been 100 feet high. It was crazy to see.
I've done events where I've gone through 10 sets of tires in one event. That's 20 tires, you know, and they're super expensive, so it's very nerve-wracking to be sitting in your car on the start line with everybody watching, wondering what's going to happen next, kind of thing.
And it's just, it can be at the track, it can be just, you know, you're cruising to a Monday night meet, just hanging out, and the car is running right, you know, it's nice, cool air coming in through the windows, it sounds good. Lucky enough to have a pretty girl sitting next to you, maybe. And it's just where everything's gelling, you know, it's all working, and it's just one of those fleeting moments where it's like, wow, you know, I I did this. It's really neat. In a competition setting, it's very difficult. You know, you do a lot of waiting, and then you get seconds where you have to be perfect. And if you're not, you don't drive anymore. Where a competition, you go out there and maybe try something new, try something else, and it doesn't go wrong. You spin, you look silly, but 10 minutes later you get to run again, get to try something else new.
The people that are really there just to drive, I think, are what makes it good for me, because a lot of people that drive at the track are there for themselves. They're there to be creative with how they do their cars, and they're just doing what makes them happy.